Good morning. This is Kenneth and Heather with the Advancing Equity Coalition, here for part 4 of our series around how do we protect teachers of color in Minneapolis public schools. In the first 3 videos, you learned about why teachers of color are so vulnerable, why is this issue so urgent right now, and then also trying to figure out what has the conversation been between Minneapolis public schools and the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers. So for part 4 of our series, we're finally getting to some solutions. So Heather, do you want to tell us what are some of the solutions that are available to Minneapolis public schools?
Yeah, the great news is two districts right next to us, St. Louis Park and Robbinsdale, have been able to come up with solutions. And they gave us an amazing word that we could be using called underrepresented. And so that is a solution. They've been able to sign it. They're out in front of us. And so now we can take some of that language and some of that example and maybe push it even further. And what are some ways that you think that we could go beyond our neighboring districts to
Yeah,
protect teachers of color?
so I think that with the language of underrepresented gives us a really good foundation because it means that, for our teaching population that is underrepresented in comparison to our students, we can protect those teachers. But now we need to go further than that. I think the first opportunity to do that in comparison to some of the other districts is extending these protections to beyond probationary teachers.
Yes.
Minneapolis actually already has protections for probationary teachers. And so what's really important is that we need to extend those protections to all teachers of color in Minneapolis public schools. So that's the first opportunity for growth. I think the second opportunity of growth is to ensure that teachers of color that have a tier 1 or tier 2 license should also have those protections. The other districts didn't have those protections in place for those licensors and license areas and license types. And so we should really be focused on trying to figure out how can we retain every single teacher in Minneapolis public schools that's a teacher of color, because we know that they're so important and so impactful to to a student's academic growth. And then, just some other notes and concerns that we know have gone back and forth between Minneapolis public schools and MFT is trying to figure out how big should these protections be? How far should they extend? And I know that MFT initially proposed that they wanted to only have these protections in 15 schools in the district. We think that it's actually really important that the protections are across the entire district because, again, we shouldn't have to, limit where and how we retain our teachers of color. And then
That's
finally, we want to ensure that it is protections are inclusive of both layoffs and accessing. And so teachers of color should be protected not only from leaving the district, but even from leaving their buildings. And so with that, if you want to learn more about our solutions and kind of what we think should be happening, check out our one pager, and also continue to watch out for our next video. But thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Bye.